What's up, YouTube? Welcome to more trades. Welcome to the channel. We had this interesting move today by Bitcoin, and we're going to take a look at what are the possibilities, what is next for the markets. Bitcoin, we'll be looking at Solana, possibly Ethereum. We'll be looking at the traditional markets, the dollar index, because they're all entangled together. Before I get started and get down into the TA, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel and click your notifications on so you don't miss out on this TA. And if you really like the TA, then there's a link to support the channel in the channel description. You can support it by clicking the link and takes you to a secure site. Any donations is welcome. Now let's get down to it. Now, looking at Bitcoin, we had this move. It looks very scary and intimidating, but to me this is just, it could be a pullback for a more bullish outcome. How is that possible, you may ask? How could this be even bullish? I mean, what are you looking at? Now let's look at this. Bitcoin has moved up from the November low in a 5-wave move. I can show you that. It's quite clear. People who follow the channel know my outlook on this move up. We had a 1 up to here, then we had a pullback in the 2, we had a big 3 up, a 4, and a possible 5. This can be labeled different ways. This can be 3, 4, 5 and we're done, or the 5th wave has far more to go. How is that? And we had this dump, you may ask. Now if we take out, there's more than one possibility. Now this 5th wave can just be in a beginning of its creation. This can be a 1 and we came down in a 2 and we go up in a 3, 4 and a possible 5, 29k, 30k. No one knows for sure. Now if we're having that 1, 2 that I'm talking about, this small 1, 2, it's a possibility, not a high probability. The way we move down here is in a very impulsive way. We had significant volume down here. You can see the spike up in volume tells you that it's an impulse more than a correction. Now if we're going to move down, for this 1, 2, we have fulfilled the retracement of 0.786, which is the furthest you would want a wave 2 to go, even though we wicked below the 0.786, but we're still at the 0.786. We might move down. I entered along a small position, then I decided to close it before I start losing money. I will look at smaller time frames for another retest. I expect another retrace, possibly when the New York market opens, maybe when the news comes out today, and we might get another wick that might come below the 21.8, so I won't have any buy orders. We may liquidate these people who went in, because you could see what happened here. We had a candle that looked like a hammer. Okay, we're going to continue up. We liquidated to the downside. We had this look like a shooting star. We're going to come down. No, we didn't. We're just ranging in a tight range. I expected a low for a long time. I've been saying I expect one more low. Will it be a lower low? I can't tell for sure, but I know my possibilities and what to look at. Now, if we're gonna continue this 5-wave move up, we need to rotate now. I believe this is as deep as it can go for a 1, 2 and a 3. Losing the 21.3, here 21.3. If you lose the 21.3, then this is no longer a 1, 2 in my opinion, and it will mean that this 5-wave move can be done, and then you have only 2 possibilities. One possibility is that this 5-wave move up was actually a C wave. How is it a C wave? You had an A wave up, a B wave that came down, expanded B pocket, and we're moving up in a C wave, in a 5-wave, and it's done. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna just crash down and we're gonna make another lower low. How is that possible? I'll show you how far can we go, and it will still be a valid, if it's not an ABC. It's one thing is saying it's an ABC, and we're coming down for a deeper wave down. Another explanation is it's a big 1 and a 2. Now if it's a big 1 and a 2, then this is the low of the 1 until the peak of the 1. Your wave 2 can take you down into this pocket. You need to be aware of this. Have this marked out. You have the level between 20,400 and 17,546. This is your pocket for an expanded for the possible wave 2. Losing the 17,546 might be too late. That's it. Yeah, I mean, you're in a dump. But if you lose this, then you have confirmation, and not wicking, I mean losing it on a daily time frame. You open and close below it, or you close below it, then you're confirming. However, before you get there, you'll have some levels of interest. You have the POC at 19,150 and the value area low at 18,659. The POC is at the golden pocket retracement. That would be a good point to let you know about. We have the 618 and the POC of the entire move up retracement over there. So that would be a good point to say, okay, I have high confluence, I can enter along. Now let's look at our EMAs. Any EMA at that level. On the weekly, probably we have an EMA. Now speaking about the daily and the weekly, we don't have any significant EMA in my opinion. Speaking about the daily and the weekly, on the daily chart, everyone was talking about, oh, we're having a bullish cross, we're gonna pump to the upside, and everyone was looking at this. But I was making you, aware that this is incoming. What is this? This is a bearish cross, a death cross, the 50 crossing the 200, and I made you aware before it even happened. So that's a bearish cross. But these indicators are just indicators. Price action first, indicators second. I believe that sometimes when you have a bullish cross or a bearish cross, the move has happened and it's too late, and we might even be reversing. We don't have to continue in that direction anyways. Now going into we have a resistance over here that if we rotate to the upside, I believe we may find some resistance over here. This is on the daily time, on the 4 hourly. This is a Fibonacci channel. We might find a resistance 23,400, 23,600, and the 23,400 range, I mean 22,800 range over here. 22,800, 23,600 are levels to watch for. We may come up, try to recover this insufficiency, this big candle over here. So it's a very real possibility that we may come there. Now, just excuse me a second, I don't know what's happening here. Okay, so it's a real possibility that we may come lower. Fib channels, I have some Fib channels over here that may hold 2300 and followed by 19.5 depending when we get there. Speaking of the 19 region that I showed you, we have the 0.618 and the POC down here at 19,000 level. That will match nicely with this gap that we haven't covered. That comes down to the 20K range on the Bitcoin CME futures chart. Now the Bitcoin CME futures has this gap. It hasn't been taken. It doesn't have to be taken. It can be taken. It is taken more often than not, but when, it could take forever to be taken. Now I want to show you something. Tesla, on the other hand, has a few gaps it needs to recover. It has this gap that could take it to the Dow 145 zone. It has another gap on the daily. If you go back in time, you can see we have a gap that could bring us down to the $80 to $75 zone, or even we have the 145 over here, 135. We have several gaps to the downside on Tesla. You may ask how significant it is. How significant is it? If Tesla drops, then you have the Nasdaq, and the Nasdaq has more than a 75% correlation to Bitcoin, and if Nasdaq drops, then Bitcoin will drop with it, possibly down to this POC at 11,567. So that's something to be aware of. Nasdaq doesn't have any gaps that I can see in the visible range, but you need to be aware of that Nasdaq can get affected. The S&P 500, the ES mini futures, which is the S&P 500 minis, had done something very interesting. Remember the trend line we had? For people who've been following know that I have this trend line since the all-time high to the bottom, and we came ever so slightly to bouncing off it. We missed it by $6 and we had a bounce. This could be the point where the S&P bounces and bounces Bitcoin with it. How high is the question? On the daily time frame, we have the 50 EMA, and we may be, or we have had a bearish cross on it, and that's an EMA on the daily. On the weekly, we are also struggling at the 50 EMA, so keep that in mind. S&P 500 may have a bounce, but we are at levels of resistance. Essentially, we came down to long time support, barely missed it with $6. Maybe I have drawn it a bit off. Maybe I didn't draw it completely correct, very accurately. I might have missed it by a bit. It is a possibility. As you can see, these lines can be missed while you're drawing, so maybe we tested it perfectly and we had a perfect bounce off it, and that is bullish for the S&P. The dollar index has been strong and attempting to break to the upside. If the dollar rips to the upside, then you have a gap over here that could take it to the 104.5 for now. We need to get above the 105 in my opinion, and to really consider the dollar bullish. Short term, I want the dollar to take these previous highs over here at 105.3. I want the dollar to take that for my Bitcoin short to go well. 105.6, sorry. Once we take that, I know we're coming up to this 106 zone. So that's my opinion on the dollar. I believe the dollar can rotate. However, this overlapping position, as you know, I have no bias. I will give you as it is. This overlapping position looks not impulsive. It looks very corrective. If I saw it in another chart, even down here, I was saying we look corrective. We may bounce. So just be aware of that. Now looking at Ethereum, I'll go into longer time frames and long-term targets. Not on this chart. On this chart, we are at the value area high of this zone, and you can see you can't make this up. You are literally bouncing off it. Look at that. So the 1,540. By the way, if you're watching this video and you want me to do TA on any coin, you can put it in the chat and I'll see what I can do. I'll take a look at them definitely. Just be kind and like the stream if you do like the stream. Now going with the Ethereum, you could come down to the POC 1,214. Yes, a crazy target, so far away. How can we get that? How can we get there? We've done it so many times before. We went to crazy targets and we can do it again. Now, before I continue, just give me a second. All right, I'm still on here. Just give me a second. I'll be back in a jiffy. All right, back. Now, looking at that, yeah, Ethereum targets to the downside. Let's look at the targets. I have a chart that has several targets to the upside, to the downside. Ethereum is just doing what Bitcoin is doing. Is it broken? The 50 EMA, we're just resting at it, resting on it. Bitcoin has gone ever so slightly lower, but Ethereum targets for me, I have still the same levels. I've had these forever. If you've been watching me forever, you would know that I've been with these targets, haven't changed them much, barely changed them, maybe corrected them, but I have the 17220. You can see the value area high has been respected. You could take a short there, come down to the POC over here at around 1640, and the value area low at around 1285. I have levels for Ethereum to the upside for resistance. First level is this 1720, followed by 1755 and 1811. Those are levels to the upside to watch for. If we start breaking down, Then you have the 1406, and you have the 1276, and the POC from 2020 at 1230. So those are levels for Ethereum. Higher time frames were showing that. Let's look at the 1 hourly. Possibility to get a bounce, but this impulse reminds me of a pump or a dump. They start with a big strong candle and we continue. We can continue lower. It's very possible for Ethereum. We have a lot of liquidity here, as you can see, to grab. We have liquidity to the downside. We could be seeing that $800 range if we continue. Not trying to spread FUD. I'm just telling you the levels and the charts, what they're showing me. At the moment for Ethereum, if we start breaking again the 1,559, then we are coming down. We could see as low as a 1,490. Those levels are very realistic for Ethereum. And once you start breaking those, then there are more targets to look at to the downside. Yeah. I'm not saying this is the end. Ethereum can do as Bitcoin. We're almost in the same structure. We can still rotate. This move up, let's look at the retracement. How far have we retraced? I think Ethereum retraced less. Ethereum is just at the 0.618, 0.65 golden pocket. Unlike Bitcoin, we wicked to the 0.887 for this supposedly 1-2. So Ethereum is holding much better. Altcoins may do much better than Bitcoin in this dump. Solana, on the other hand, Solana on the other hand has broken down the value area high, and next level of support 18,343 in my opinion. If you lose this level, if you lose the 19.6, you're coming to 18,343. So keep that in mind for Solana. We may still rotate to the upside. Solana did a good retracement. Actually, I think it did as bad as Bitcoin. Yeah, Solana is worse than Bitcoin. We wicked almost to the 1-to-1 for that. Not saying that it didn't validate a wave 2, but it's not a nice retracement. This is looking like a double top. We have the 200 EMA right on top of our heads. So that isn't looking that good for Solana. I would say Solana, look at it. We're below the 813.21, crossed the 55. Yesterday, I think I was talking about this in my Solana video. I said, usually when you get this, the next candle that open and closes below the 80 EMA is your short signal. And we got that over here. And I told you sometimes we dump a bit and we pump, then we continue. And that's what happened. And that time when I made the video, we were right here. And that's what we got. Short signal, dumped, pumped, continued the dump. Now, let's go down to this interesting thing called Tesla. Tesla has a lot of levels to recover down here. I'm not sure if I think I went through Tesla. We have a lot of levels to talk about down here. We could come down, and if Tesla comes down, it may bring the tech stocks, the tech indices, and indices like Nasdaq down. And since they have a positive correlation with Bitcoin, you might get Bitcoin coming down and the rest of the crypto market. So just be aware, if Tesla pulls down, it's going to be bad. We have this news to look at. Silvergate. Silvergate is a bank that is a bank for crypto markets. It provides smooth transactions for crypto markets. And they had 50% fall in price of shares due to the FTX exposure of their assets. They had so much exposure in FTX, which in turn brought down their shares tremendously. If you look at this, we gapped down from $13 to $5 in a day. I mean, it's crazy. It wasn't even a weekend for the gap down to happen. And if you look at the drop that they had since their highs in November, this is a 97%. It looks like an S coin. Seriously. It looks like, what can you say? It looks like FTT. I mean, it looks very bad for this asset, for this share, this stock, this company. And this in turn could affect the crypto market. Which other exchange Silvergate was exposed tremendously to FTX. Which other exchange is using Silvergate and could have some exposure in Silvergate and could affect it tremendously? Will it pull it down? That's a question to ask. DXY, I talked about it. ES100, Ethereum, Solana. A coin that I've been trading lately, BNX. It had a nice dumperoo, and this was due to, I think they separated it into two, like what they did with Luna and Luna C, and you can't see the rest of the chart. I need to really go down to the $100, $200 zone. Let's look. Hey, where is it? I think it won't show on the futures chart. I need to go BNX USD. I'll show you what happened to this coin. And when I saw it, that's when I got interest and thought I should trade this coin because I will get a nice dump to the downside and be able to make use of this dump. Why isn't it showing on my chart? Let's go on the daily. It was showing previously. Maybe the chart has changed or something. There was a big gap here up to the $200 zone, and now it's trading below $1. Yeah, something happened to the chart. Anyways, this is another thing you need to be concerned about. Coins like this that act like Luna and all that, like this coin BNX, I wouldn't hold a bag of it. Maybe I would think of buying it at these levels because we're bouncing off the value area high, but we are, I believe, in price discovery, and we could be coming lower, much lower. I have this target of 67 cents. I had these targets, and you can see they've been hit perfectly. I mean, I hit all my targets. I just have one more target to be hit. I have no other targets. This is a 1.618 extension of this move down. Now, going to fib extensions, Bitcoin on the move down, we could be just in an ABC correction, but we really need to hold this level. We shouldn't break below the 21,300. And let me take a trend-based fib from the high over here to the low and back to the bounce here. You can come as low as the 1-to-1 extension. I think that's the limit. Don't take more than that. Then you're making this into a different count. If you come lower, then you're coming to the 1.618, 19,700, and that is telling me we're doing that big 1-2, or this move up was just a C wave in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're beginning an impulse down in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, coming down to make a new lower low. So once you break this 21.3, then you'll have two possibilities. Either you're having a big 1-2, you had a November low, a 1, and you're coming down. You're making a 2 in February and going for a big 3, or you have completed your A from here, expanded B pocket, a C up here, and that correction is done. As I was thinking for months now that we are in a wave 4 and we're coming down for a 5th wave down that may make a lower low. But even if we're in a 5th wave, we can have a truncated 5th that just makes a higher low and gives us bullish divergence. Now, speaking of divergences, let's go to the RSI and look at our divergences. Do we have any divergences? Let's go to the line chart, switch off my indicators, and erase all drawings. Let's get rid of all drawings over here. Delete 16 drawings. Now, let's see if we have any divergences formed today. Possibly, it looks like it. There you go. This is a bullish scenario. We have a low over here and we have a lower low. Sorry, we don't have a bullish scenario. I thought we had a higher low. Okay, so no bullish divergence yet on the 4 hourly. On the daily, we have a higher low in price action. Possibly in the daily, if the daily closes like this, then this will tell you have what is called hidden bullish divergence on the daily, and you can continue the trend. This is hidden bullish divergence. So not looking at bearish stuff, we have bullish divergence, as we had bearish divergence over here. We're making lower highs and higher highs over here. That's bearish divergence. Over here, we're making bullish divergence. If we don't break, two things must not happen. The price shouldn't go lower than 21,600, I believe. This zone over here shouldn't close below 21.6. Close, not a wick, close. If it closes below 21.6, then we're going to erase that bullish divergence. So you need to watch today not to go below 21.6. And if we close like this, then we might be in something else now, which is another thing. It's interesting looking at these patterns. We might have a bounce up. We might be in a rising wedge, which is a bearish pattern. And how do you measure the target? The target is simply the width of your widest part, the mouth, and you take that and you say, if we break down my target for this, and you can mark it out in your chart, if we break down, we're coming down to 19.3. So that will tell me we have a 1. So once I break down of this, it will even give me another indication that we might be coming in that 1, possibly a 2, or further low. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please be kind and smash the likes, because the more people that like the videos, the more they get out there and get more people watching them to benefit from this TA. I've given you free targets. You could chance your trades accordingly. Always use a stop loss, always position size. Don't be overexposed. If you have a lot of margin, you don't need a lot of leverage. If you have less margin, it's understandable. You need a lot of leverage, but make sure your position size is all right. I mean, if you have $100, when you enter a trade, I wouldn't enter more than $20 as extreme. With leverage, I can 20 exit. I like to trade with leverage, but I mean, if I had $100, I would only trade not more than $20, or if I'm very sure of this, of the position and my TA, I've got confluences out there, I might go to $30 with 20x leverage, you could say, or maybe 50x leverage, just to grow my account a bit quicker. Because if I just go in a trade with $5, my return of $5 might take some time. Yeah, so position size is very important. Stop loss is very important. Don't FOMO. I admit I almost FOMO today. I wanted to enter the trade so badly. I don't want to miss out on this next pump, possible pump up, because if we pump from here, then it may be a big one. It's the 26 to 30K. I think maximum 29K. 26 to 29K is very possible if we pump from here. Pump and break above and close above the 25 200 zone. So just be aware of that. Position size, don't FOMO. You don't have to enter on the first touch. Yeah, it's true. It's nice to enter on the first touch and claim that you entered at the bottom of the wick, but there's a good chance you can get stopped out. So in my opinion, wait for the second touch. Don't trade between markets. Like now it's the European session, trading on their own. Wait for the US New York session. That's the best. All right, that's it. If you like the video, smash the like, subscribe to the channel, join the free Discord, link in the video description. And if you really like the content, you can subscribe. You can support the channel with the link below that says buy me a coffee. More trades. I'm out.